Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel. Just Shauna here to talk about some friggin' books. So I'm gonna be kind of wrapping up my seasonal TBR, mostly just talking about how it went. This was it my first attempt? No, it was my second seasonal TBR, but this one I had a little more organized as far as which books and which shelves I was going to pick from for my Goodreads shelves, and I've actually changed it a little bit also. So for this one, it was from January to April. I do 4 months just because TBRs in general are not my thing. That's why I never do them unless it's for a readathon. I don't do monthly TBRs or anything like that. I'm just such a mood reader. So for the January to April, I had selected 2 books from my, at the time it was called my TBR Soon shelf on Goodreads. I had picked 1 classic, I had picked 1 nonfiction, 2 rereads, and then of course the Pushina Corn pick. And sometimes there's more than one of those in a season, but this time there was just the one. And I use a random generator to pick from the books that are on these lists. So the 2 that were for the TBR Soon were A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. That one I did not get to because basically I couldn't get it. I mean, I could have bought a copy, but y'all know I don't love buying copies of books that I haven't read. I've been burned too many times. This book, Holy God, is in high demand apparently. I mean, and now the current situation, it might be waiting for me at the library. I haven't actually checked my hold requests in a while because I can't go pick them up anyway. And I tried finding an ebook copy on Libby or Hoopla, not to be found, and then an audiobook also. I did put in a request for the audiobook on hold for fucking ever. So I was hoping, I put in the request in the end of January, and I was like, oh, by April I should have it. No. And then An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir was another pick, and this one was also on my owned TBR. I've owned a used copy of this book forever, and I just kept putting it off. I put it off in January, I put it off in February, I put it off in March, and I was like, I'll read it in April. I just don't want to read it. I just don't care. I realize that I've had it on this TBR Soon shelf forever, but I don't actually give a crap anymore about it. So yeah, I'm not reading that one. This is why TBRs are the worst for me, because I'm just I changed my mind. I don't wanna. The classic pick was Foundation by Isaac Asimov, and I just recently read that one and talked about it in the last wrap-up that actually went up today. And I didn't love it. I think I would have DNF'd it if it's pretty short, and honestly the writing style wasn't super dense, hard to read or anything like that. It was very straightforward, easy to read through. I just started getting really fucking bored. And then I do not actually recall what the selection was originally for the nonfiction because I changed it. I want to say that it was some Buddhism one, but it ended up being hella obscure, and I actually couldn't find it anywhere, and I don't even think I could find it to purchase. It's out of print. So I did, how did I find this one? I think I just saw someone talking about, I don't know. At any rate, from the library, I picked up Rejected Princesses, a little nonfiction illustrated book by Jason Porath, and it was pretty good time. I liked it. It was cute. It's just, like I said, it's illustrations. So it has this cutesy quality to it. The illustrations are really, really cute. But as the book progresses, it gets more and more graphic, and the stories get more and more violent. And some of them are myths or, folklore, folk tales of these women, historical women. Some of them are actual historical figures though, all women, girls who did just amazing things. And some of them are people you would recognize. Harriet Tubman, I believe, was one of them, for example. But then there's a lot that are super obscure who history doesn't really teach us about. And so it was really interesting. I liked it. And then my reread selections, Solace by Gail Carriger, which I reread in March. I reread it in March. And I'm actually now on the 3rd book of the Parasol Protectorate series, so continuing that whole reread. Very enjoyable reread. These books aren't Like, the plot isn't necessarily anything like, oh my god, it's such a compelling story. But I love Alexia Terabati. Oh my god, she is my bitch. And I really like the romance in the books. Her and her love interest. He's very cantankerous. He's a werewolf, and he's like, meh. And they butt heads all the fucking time, but they respect each other so much, and they have a lot of passion for each other. But yeah, they just like verbally just are constantly verbally sparring with each other, and I love it. And then the next one that was selected for a reread was The Aeronauts Windlass by Jim Butcher, and I'm currently still reading that one. It's a fucking huge book, but yeah, I take the dust jacket off of hardcovers. Yeah, it's been a while since I read this one, and the first time I read it, I actually listened to it on audio, but this time I wanted to read the physical book, and it's just so huge and kind of daunting, but I'm enjoying it. I mean, I don't know what percentage into it I am, maybe 20%. This one I don't know if I will finish by the end of March. Oh my god, just fucking throw it on the floor. Yeah, just because it is slow going, and not because I'm not enjoying it, but just because I think of the nature of the story. There are a lot of characters. It's one of these stories with a bunch of different characters in different places in the world doing different things, and then like slowly but surely coming together. You know what I mean? So right now at the beginning, it's like we're over here with them and they're doing their thing, and then we're over here with them and they're doing their thing, and then we're over here with them and they're doing their thing, and like we're sort of seeing the ties and whatever, but it hasn't gotten there yet. I'm gonna sip some tea. I hope it's not too hot. I love this cup. I got it at the M&M store in Times Square. It was the only place I stopped in Times Square when I walked through it. I was like,
get me the fuck out of here.
And then the Pashinacorn pick was Jade City by Fonda Lee, which I read like in fucking January, right? I read that a while ago. Nope, February. I really liked that. I gave that 4 Pashinacorns. I probably would have given it more had the plot not sort of confused me a couple of times, but that's like my own personal issue. But I gave that one the award of surprising for the year, because, I mean, obviously I didn't like have it on the Pashinacorn pick shelf because I thought I would hate it, but I don't know, I hadn't heard that much about it, so I was like, oh, hopefully I like this, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I liked it a lot, and it impacted me. Like, things that happened in the plot left me like, holy fucking shit, man. Like, I don't know, that's always a good sign, right? So, the next seasonal TBR for May to August, I have already done the shit, but I wanted to mention, so I've changed up a little bit. So, now on my Goodreads, I have the following TBR like categories, shelves. I have TBR romance, which doesn't have a lot on it. I have TBR historical fiction, TBR contemporary general fiction, TBR fantasy, which, as you can assume, has the most on it. So what I'm gonna do is filter books from those lists into the TBR soonish Goodreads shelf, and then from there filter books to the TBR next shelf as spots open up, and I'm gonna always have 30 books in the TBR next shelf. So that is what the random generator is picking from, the 30 books in that TBR next. So basically, the different little categories filtered into TBR soonish, and then from TBR soonish, like, because I'm such a mood reader, so I'll just go through it as a spot opens up on the TBR next, like, okay, from the soonish list, like, what am I really in the mood for right now? And then I still have the classics. I don't know, I just wanted that to be separate because, like, I always want to be reading a classic for the seasonal TBR, you know what I mean? Whereas, like, historical fiction, general fiction, romance, those, it's kind of like, it's okay if one doesn't get on the list, so whatever. And then the Pashinacorn pick, which you guys vote on, and then the nonfiction TBR, again, I just kind of always want to be having a nonfiction book on the seasonal TBR. And then the reread, and 2 from that, 2 from the TBR next. So anyways, there we go. So you guys already voted on the Pashinacorn pick, the next one, and it is Daughters of Neri by Rennie K. Amayo. And I've heard really good things about this. This one I've been anticipating for a minute, so thanks for voting for that one, you guys. And from the TBR next, the 2 books that the random generator picked were Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark, right? And A Crown for Gold and Silver Ashley at doesn't have a degree in reading will be excited about that. That's by, wait, what the fuck? A Crown for Gold and Silver. Bitch! I typed in a Crown for Gold and Silver in Goodreads, and it pulled up The Dental Laboratory, a Manual of Gold and Silver. What the fuck? That's the name of the book, right? It's not. Oh my god, I hate myself. A Crown for Cold Silver. I'm such an idiot. Ashley, if she was watching this for a second, was probably like, what the fuck? Why do I care about that book? I don't know what you're talking about. A Crown for Cold Silver by Alex Marshall. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I've heard really good things about this series. It's one of Ashley's favorites, if I remember correctly. And yeah, it just sounds cool. It's fantasy, you know. And then for the classics, the selection is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I, honest to God, don't know the first fucking thing about that book. It has been on my Goodreads for eons, I swear to God. Nonfiction TBR, the selection is Rosalie Lightning, a graphic memoir by Tom Hart, and I can't remember what the fuck it's about. Oh Jesus, this sounds so fucking sad. Oh my God. It's Eisner-nominated cartoonist Tom Hart's #1 New York Times bestselling, touching and beautiful graphic memoir about the untimely death of his young daughter, Rosalie. Well, fuck. Guess I'm gonna fucking cry. But I don't know when I'll be able to get that because I don't love reading graphic novels like on my phone, and I don't have like a fancy Kindle. So that one might be a minute. And then my reread selections, again, there are 2 for this. Pride and Prejudice, very excited about that. It's been a long time since I read that. And The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. Oh my God, I'm so fucking jazzed for that. I read that in college for one of my many literature classes. I don't remember which one, but I don't remember much about the actual book, like the plot or the characters or anything. I just remember that it impacted, like I remember talking about it with people outside of class, because like obviously in class we had to talk about it. I just remember talking like to my cousin about it, and yeah, just remember it making me like think a lot, and I don't know, I'm excited. So there we have it. Those are the books for my next seasonal TBR. I would say the January to April one was like halfway successful, seeing as how one of the books I just decided fuck it, another one I couldn't fucking get, and another one I'm still reading. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.